Hello friends, it's Simone. I'm here today to share my mid-year Techo Kaigi planner update for 2024. Today is almost the middle of July. I think it's the 11th, and I want to talk about the planners, the planner adjacent notebooks, as well as my journals, and let you know how things are going, and if I'm going to change things up, what I learned so far. And yeah, let's get into this. I am trying to film this in the same format as I usually do, so that you can actually go back and compare if that's something that you would like to do. I started out 2024 with the Hobonichi weeks as my planner. It went okay. Let's see. I actually don't even know how it went in the beginning. I started in January. Oh yeah, I remember now. We got a puppy on December 31st, right here. And that is how my whole year started with everything. I had to really cut back on my own expectations. And this is how an ideal week would look like at the beginning of the year. But it wasn't happening much. I shared a Q1 update where I talked about the fact that I wasn't using my planner much, and that still kept on going. I decided to just use it when I needed it, make a list, maybe not even use the weekly. I thought quickly about maybe doing daily logs in the back, but that didn't really work out either. And then I decided around May to, instead of doing daily logs in the back, I would try and do daily logs in these weekly segments. That meant that I didn't have to write much. It would still keep me on track. It would be something to process. I totally decorated this sometimes, but only if I found something that was close by. So I didn't go out and actually decorate it on purpose. I just like, oh, this snippet is here, let me just stick it down. At that time, I started using my Platinum 3776 Century with an extra fine nib filled with platinum carbon black ink to write my logs down. I also incorporated my fountain pens, and that seemed to help. It is still going okay. But I repurposed it in June for a little bit while my sister and her family were here to just basically memory log, so that when I was going to put things into my weekly journal that I knew I wasn't going to get to, I would be able to reference something, and because I would probably forget what is here. So I can either just leave it right here, because this is a really short snippet of every day, or I can put this into my weekly journal, and I'll show you my weekly journal, how it looks in those last few weeks. This is working really well for me. It's sometimes, especially when I'm thinking about daily logs in the putting this on a weekly spread, like here, it feels a little crammed, and I'm thinking of maybe moving into a standard size weekly notebook that looks exactly the same as the Hobonichi weeks for 2025. But before I make any of those decisions, I just want to keep going and see how it's working out for me in the long run, and especially how I can make sure that the one thing that is missing from my whole planning system at the moment is the processing at the end. The end of the day, the end of the week, the end of the month. And so that's kind of a bummer. I can go back and do that. But the more I'm not doing it, the more, the more taunting the tasks get. So I really need to make sure that I find a way to incorporate the processing routine into my planning system again. Yeah, let me know if you're planning. I would say that the way that I'm planning or writing down my to-dos, because I'm not really planning stuff like dates. Those all go into my digital calendar, appointments and all that stuff. I'm planning what tasks am I going to do, what creative items do I want to tackle, what videos do I want to film, do I need to make bread for tonight, things like that. Well, I need to really actually make this. When you're doing things like that, how do you then process the tasks that you did? How do you go back and find what you didn't do? How do you go back and realize and reschedule your tasks? I would say that this is a very loose bullet journal method. This is how I started planning. I still do all of the same things. This in the sense of bullet journaling is how I started analog planning. Yeah, and so I would really love to know, when you do this, how do you make sure that you stay on top of your tasks that didn't get done? In the back, I'm making lists. The newest list is 2025 ideas for planners and journals. One thing that I'm still using with my planner is this reference binder that I wanted to set up really nicely in the beginning of the year. Never got around to doing that. But I have repurposed one section, or I have started one section that I also have been talking about in my very first, and I think also my second video, is I started subscribing to this weekly email reminder where you get tasks every week to do things in your house. So that you are maintaining your house and are able to, you don't have to put in so much money for repairs, because you actually keep track of, do the maintenance things. And I found, especially this past week, I found that I needed something to write down. And because, the cleaning, I don't enjoy cleaning much. And so I rather play in my journals, watch YouTube videos, bake something. Yeah, cleaning is definitely on the bottom of my list. And so I want to make sure that I frequently do small cleaning tasks in order to keep my house halfway decent. But I have found that it would be really helpful for me to log the cleaning, the maintenance, the yard work, all of that stuff somewhere. And I pulled out, I thought about this for a while, I pulled out this monthly that I have left over from a journal that I gave up. And I started writing in here last night. I realized really quickly that the space wasn't enough. And so I decided, you know what? This would be perfect. I have these calendars came in the planner since I purchased, or binder, since I purchased 2 of those binders. I have a lot of those monthly undated pages. And instead of going out and buying something really new, I'm just going to try and use this and see how that is going to work out for me. I already can see that the space is bigger, and it is exactly the amount of space that I would need. It also makes sense to keep that list right here. I printed it out. It's not really necessary because I also get a weekly email. But yeah, I'm hoping that this will help me stay on top of all of those things. And yeah, I will update you in my next quarterly update to see if this is still around or not. That's also mostly what is in this binder. I started wish lists, but to be honest, sometimes I just need to write the wish somewhere and then forget about it. I don't really need to maintain a wish list that I update frequently, because the process of writing something down is enough for me to be able to just let it go for now. So that's the planner system. It's 2 books. This is something that I would love to keep open on my desk so I can keep logging things. And that's one of those things where I'm also thinking, if I'm getting the standard size, it's this much bigger. And this is much more compact, I think, than the one that I'm looking at, of course, is the Sterling Ink N2 or N1 in standard. So it's the same layout, but I think it has more pages. But if you see, I'm on page 11 and it's already the middle of July. I don't need a lot of notes pages in my weekly notebook. I am also considering maybe getting the GU from Baumkuchen, but the thing that is keeping me from that is that there is no monthly, so I would have to purchase a monthly and a weekly, and then a traveler's notebook setup already gets complicated. Luckily, we're in July and I don't have to make any decisions just yet. So this is the planning. Then let's talk about the notebooks, or the planner adjacent notebooks. I have 2 at the moment. Here is my YouTube, social media, Ko-fi binder projects, crafty, creative projects that I want to work on. And it's here when I need it. The thing that I'm using mostly is the monthlies. These are from Paper Penguin Co. I just ordered a pack and put them in here. And I use those sticky tabs from Muji to write YouTube ideas here. As you can see, I haven't even, usually I just take out the sticky note and write down the video that was actually published on that day, but I haven't updated it since May. And the main reason for that is not that I don't want to use this. The main reason for that is that around the time I decided that I am not going to pre-film any videos for the time that I have visitors, for the time that my kids are off, and maybe I'm not getting into the filming rhythm, or we go on adventures and I'm not here to film. In previous years, I made sure that I had videos lined up so that I could publish them. But I decided that I'm not going to do that and stress myself out prior to taking that vacation. If I had videos and I was able to like stretch them out and share some here and there, I would just schedule them, spread them out a little bit, but I wouldn't actively pre-film any videos. And so not looking at the calendar and not looking at the ideas and the videos that I wanted to film helped me reach that goal. And you know, there is some videos that I might film during July. Maybe I'm just not, and that's okay too. I'm doing this because I have fun making videos and not because I want to share specific videos. Sometimes I talk about, you know, I had this grand idea of filming, what are they? What did I say? Is it here? Supplies that I use for, you know, cleaning my pens, journaling, all that stuff. And I think that's a grand idea, but the thought of pulling it all together and grabbing everything and talking about it is just not appealing to me right now. Maybe it is at a later date, but not at the moment. And so I'm just not filming that video, even though I think maybe it would be a really fun video for people to watch. So I'm going mostly by what do I feel like filming right now. And maybe I'll get into a more rigid system later on in the year. And maybe it's just going to be like this for a longer period of time. And I'm totally okay with that. So that's that. This is a great resource, but it's not something that I'm reaching for right now. I used to reach for it for quite a while, and I'm definitely going to update this. However, with all of my notebooks and journals, it's always I am taking care of my dog, I'm taking care of my family, and yes, this is the order that it's working right now. And I am taking care of myself. Well, I'm taking care of my family. You know that their basic life needs are met. Like food is here. We have dinner regularly. We go to doctor's appointments when needed. And I'm taking care of myself. And sometimes taking care of myself means sitting down and journaling, means going to bed early and watching YouTube videos and not updating this. It's always a choice of what is more helpful for me right now, and updating this is just not a priority at the moment. And that's totally fine. I'm actually surprised that I'm so chill about all of this. I feel like I have come a long way with giving myself grace and being more lenient with how I'm updating my planners and journals. And it gives me a better way of dealing with these, you know, things that come along that aren't necessarily always the right way. I talked about this in a snippets from my desk video. I'm not sure that you have been able to watch this yet. Where I'm like, okay, you know, all the planner and journaling people need to schedule 4 days around the beginning of July, maybe the 29th and 30th of June and 1st and 2nd of July, to just stay home and assess their planner and journaling needs, set up their second half of the year, so that they are set for the next 6 months. But actually, do I really want to make myself, submit myself to the pressure of all of that? Or do I just say, you know what? Whenever it gets done, and this is just not on the top. So that's cool. And I'm really happy. And I hope that by talking about it, by showing you my not so well kept planners, you also get, you give yourself grace too. So this one is one of my favorite outcomes of 2024. I purchased 2 Hobonichi weeks, or I had 2 Hobonichi weeks at the start of the year, and I think I knew exactly what I wanted to use them for, and then I didn't end up using one for the purpose I had purchased it for, and so this was basically unused. However, I really loved the cover, and then I saw Lorelei from Handmade by Lorelei sharing that she uses her Hobonichi weeks as a mail log, and I decided that that's exactly what I wanted to do as well, and this has been working so well for me. I am using the monthly to log I did a challenge where I used 31 inks, 31 pens, and wrote 31 letters. And so I documented that on the monthly. Haven't used the monthlies for anything else, and I'm not concerned about not using those. I'm thinking of doing another challenge that involves sending out postcards in September, and so I probably log this here as well. And then the weekly spreads I use for incoming mail and outgoing mail. And I also sometimes I write down what I sent to people, and sometimes I write down what they include in their mail. And then all the random bits and pieces that maybe were used to decorate the envelope, I put here. Sometimes I put some little notes here. And I just really like how this is working out. I don't know if I'm going to reference this in the future ever, but it gives me a space to put all those random bits and pieces that I sometimes just don't know where to put. And here, isn't that cool? I just love it. And then in May, I started writing the challenge. So here I started on the 1st. I sent out a letter every day, and I kept doing that until June 9th. And in June, of course, I had my sister and her family visit, so there's nothing logged right here, but I'm getting back into the swing of things, and so I'm doing more. In the back pages, I have I wrote down all the letters that were still waiting to be responded to. I sent out my Ko-fi sticker, made a list of people that I needed to send it to. I put down the new mailing rates starting July 14th. And so I'm just using this for lists related to letters. In the front of this cover, which is by Eberhard Studio, I have my little address booklets. This is the old one, this is the new one. I'm still in the process of transferring addresses into here, but that is then how this looks, and I'm definitely going to plan on using another Hobonichi weeks for this in 2025, unless I for some reason stop sending mail. This could be a journal, but I decided this is more of a planner adjacent notebook for me. It's a happy mail log. And then now on to the journals. UC4. I started out the year with 5, and I'll talk about the one that I stopped using in a second. I'm currently housing my weekly journal in the Traveler's Notebook Hotel edition. I think this is my favorite special edition journal or cover from Traveler's Notebook. And I previously housed this in a Sojourner. I'm just rotating through as I see fit. I'm using the weekly inserts from Sterling Ink. Previously I have used the weekly vertical from Traveler's Notebook, but I really wanted to use Tomoe River paper, and that worked out really well for me. I have filled in almost all of the spreads for the first half of the year. Where I fell off was the 17th of June. I did not log anything here. And then the week that my sister was here, I didn't put anything down yet. As I said prior, I'm not sure how I'm going to document this in here, but it's there if I actually want to go back and log it. That's something that I'm planning on doing after filming this video, actually, like going in and updating. And then I started the second week that my sister was here, stuck down a little haul, like all of the labels that were included there. Not sure again how I'm going to fill this in, but my main focus for this next week, when I'm filming my Sunday snippets from my desk, is to go in and just continue where in the present day and not worry too much about the previous two weeks. This is a lot of fun for me. I'm trying to just do whatever I enjoy doing. I'm currently really itching to try something else. Not so much in the way that I'm journaling, but maybe not a dated format and maybe in a bigger size. But there's, you know, my feelings are twofold. On the one hand, I really love how this is working for me. I really like the spreads that I'm producing, the things that I write down. And I don't want to jinx this by starting something else, but having a little bit of bigger space would allow me to include more ephemera, maybe write bigger, and not being bound. You know, I could do a weekly, one entry, 1 week could be just this much in an A5 journal, for instance, and then another week I could use 2 pages, for instance. So I'm very greatly inspired by Brandy Kincaid and her journal that she often shares on her Instagram reels. But yeah, I'm not sure. I don't want to jinx this because this is working so well. The only thing that I'm not really happy with for this whole thing is the cover is too stiff, in my opinion. I hope Sterling Ink is coming out with another cover. My current thought process is to maybe start 2025 with an A5 undated journal and see how it goes. And then if I, for some reason, just can't get on board with it, instead of purchasing the Sterling Ink dated one, maybe I can try the GU Weekly Planner. It has a different format that would also, like, you know, switch it up a bit. I know that it's really weird that I need, you know, some kind of layout on the page and then neglecting it completely. It feels like this is the canvas that I like working on. It needs to have something so that I can build from it. I'm more hesitant and afraid to use a page when it's blank. Even the grid is too little design for me. So I'm thinking that maybe doing that, having the GU undated in the back as a security blanket, if I'm not enjoying the bigger format, would be a fun thing to do. But again, we're in July and I still have a lot of time to think about it. I use a sticker release paper where I put all the ephemera in that I find. I really like doing that. It's kind of limiting the supplies that I use. And then I have a small Galen Leather Co. box here where I just throw in all the ephemera that gets sent to me, that comes in the extravagant Hope mailer that I want to use, and go through this maybe every month, every other month, and take out everything that I just can't work into this weekly spread. And that's also why it's so appealing to me to get a bigger space, because I then would be able to incorporate more of the bigger ephemera in my journal. But yeah, so that's my weekly journal. I'm pulling back the daily snippet, this is the leftover book from that. I decided to let go of in April. After April, I stopped on the 21st. I cut out the monthly pages and just stuck them into the front of my weekly journal so that I can keep this with the rest of the creative journaling, and I'm okay with that. The weekly spread is more important to me than the daily snippet. I tried it. I liked the idea. It worked well for 2 months, and then it just I felt forced to do it, and so I decided, you know what, I don't have to do this. I can just stop. And so I did. Where's the rest of the journals now? Here. This is my long form journal that I have decorated in February, and I used it in February for 1, 2, 3 days. Then I used it in March 29th, March 6th, and then I did not use it for a long time until June 16th. I thought that maybe with the anxiety that I was feeling about my sister and her family coming, it would help me if I wrote something every day. That lasted for exactly 3 days. June 16th, 17th, 18th, and then I didn't reach for it again. I put a currently inked in here on July 3rd, and that's about as much as I have written here. I do think it would be really fun to go back in and try journaling with it. And however, I have the slight feeling that the reason why I'm also not too drawn to this is because of the paper. And I'm currently considering just, going through this and filling this up, or abandoning this journal again to use a different one. However, the only Tomoe River notebook that I have is this really small grid, which I don't like. I would really love to have a lined Tomoe River notebook. So I'm wondering if I want to purchase a sterling ink one, or if I'm just using what I have. But yeah, that's where I am with my long form journal. It's here when I need it. I don't really mind having huge gaps in between. Um, the reason why I'm thinking that it's the paper that is also keeping me from it because I'm really enjoying the Sanzen Tomoe River paper for my letters, and I love writing them at right now. And so I think if I had Sanzen Tomoe River paper for my journal, maybe I would journal more, and maybe I would get those thoughts that keep, rotating in my head out easier. Another journal that's working really, really well for me, and I need to take this one out now because it's just I'm not using it, is my reading journal. I tried to make a basically alphabetical list of authors that I enjoy reading. I got to here. So maybe I can repurpose this for something that also needs alphabetized things. And I am just updating this every Sunday when I film my snippets from my desk videos. I'm writing this much about every book. I really love this format for my reading journal. It's more a log than a reading journal. But if I would have the urge to write more than just this tiny snippet here, I also like the format for that because it's still not very overwhelming. It seems very doable for me, and I'll keep using this log until it's done, and then I'll just reach for any other passport size inserts that I still have in my stash. Yeah, so this is totally working really great for me. I love adding some decoration right here on each of those pages. All of the reading related stickers get stuck in here, and whatever else I can find. It's quick and easy, quick and dirty. There's not much expectation towards this notebook. And then the last journal that I have that I had been thinking about getting rid of is this. This is my junk journal. I stick in random bits and pieces that I don't know where else to put. Maybe I would throw them away in another life. But currently I love sticking these things in here and having them for a while. And then maybe if I move and downsize, this is not a journal that I would take, but it brings me joy to stick things in here randomly. Most of the things, again, are pieces that are sent in Happy Mail. And for instance, I recently filmed a video where I stuck down all of these pages or things that I probably would throw out if I didn't have this journal. And so I'm really happy that I can document those here. It feels like, archiving them. And if I never reference this ever again, that's fine. Sometimes I stick in postcards. This one, I still don't know where I'm going to put this. This was something that I liked and wanted to keep, so I stuck it in here. Yeah. When I went back into this journal recently, it was like, do I really still want to do this or not? I pulled out all the things, I stuck them in here, and it took me maybe 3 hours, 1 hour. I don't know, I filmed along, so it wasn't that long. To just, it was a mindless, possibly senseless activity. I used my glue stick, I used tape, I stuck things in, and it felt really good and was a good keeping busy while not really doing anything brain-wise. And so I'm just collecting all the things in this little tin, and whenever I feel like I need to go back in here and stick things down, then I will do that. So I am definitely going to keep this around, and I probably will make another one whenever this one is finished. So this is all the stuff that I'm currently using as journals and planners. As you might remember, I shared a video about all of my Inky stuff. I do have more notebooks, but I consider them Inky stuff. This one is the one that is kind of like an ink log, dated-ish journal of the year 2024. That's the only one that I would consider is a thing that ends at a specific date. I recently, well, actually yesterday, decided that once this is done, once 2024 is over, I will not continue with this Cosmo Airlight paper because it's nice, but it's just not overly enjoyable. It's not something that gives me cozy feelings. It's just paper that works okay with fountain pens and inks, but I'm definitely going to use something else in 2025. So this I might consider something that falls under this Techo Kaigi thing. But I talked about this in previous videos. I show this all the time. Maybe at the end of July, I can show you a whole flip through of this. That would be fun too, possibly. We'll see. Let me know in the comments below how your planning and journaling is going. Did you let go of any journals that you thought you were going to use? I highly recommend and encourage you to only use the things that bring you joy, that help you be more productive, even if it's just in a creative sense. You don't have to and also, you don't always have to be productive. I love using my planner because it helps me stay on task. I love doing things, but sometimes I just don't really know where to start, and that exactly is where my planner comes in. And yeah, and it also helps me to see what cleaning tasks need to get done first. I am really looking forward to the next 6 months in 2024 and how my planning and journaling process is going to evolve. I touched on things that I might want to change in 2025, but I'm trying really hard not to either go out and change it right now and also not to lock myself into something already when there's still so much time left, which is actually something I'm considering not purchasing any planners before the end of October 2024. In previous years, I have found that I'm changing my planning in the 2 months before the year changes, and so I'm probably not going to partake in the Hobonichi release, probably not going to partake in the Sterling Ink release, depending on how much they allocate. If something is going to sell out, I might get one. But yeah, that's how I have changed. Well, I mean, you know, the sales and dates haven't come yet, so I'm not sure if I'm going to succumb to FOMO, but I would really love to be able to not. If you have any strategies on how to do that, let me know in the comments down below. Maybe that will help any other viewers as well. I'm going to stop rambling now. I will see you soon. Until then, bye.